You're my favorite, darling. Destroying it already? Isn't that a little bit nuts? Hi guys! Today we'll be comparing drugstore versus high-end makeup, and I'm super excited because I have so many good dupes and I want you to guess which half is drugstore and which half is high-end. Do let me know down in the comments below. How do you think? And yeah, let's just roll. So half of my face will be drugstore and half high-end, and my right hand side will be high-end and the left hand side will be drugstore. And of course I'm gonna start up with the primer, and for the high-end I'm gonna use Hangover Too Faced Proactive Nourishing Primer, and for the drugstore I'm gonna use Maybelline New York Baby Skin Instant Eraser. This is actually a very good dupe, so let's give it a go. So the Too Faced has a little plump, which is very interesting, and I'm gonna try to put it just on half of my face because yeah, that's the point of this video basically. The difference is that the Too Faced one is quite creamy, has very light texture, and it's sort of like white, like very milky consistency, while Maybelline New York has kind of a consistency of a gel and it's invisible. It feels very cooling and I quite like it on my skin. So moving on into the foundation. For the high end, I'm gonna use Elizabeth Arden Flawless Skin Caring Foundation with hyaluronic acid and vitamin C and E. And for the drugstore, I'm gonna use a very nice dupe, which is L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. The Elizabeth Arden is very liquidy. They're very like similar in formulas, very liquidy. I think for me the challenge will be to actually know mistake which side is which side, because I'm very easily confused and I like to mess up the things. The shade is 250 and this retails for 33 quid. L'Oreal Paris retails for 12.99 and I use it in the shade Ivory. The shade is very close, well at least I hope it's gonna be really close, because I'm gonna look very weird. Halfway one shade, half face one shade and half face the other shade. The L'Oreal Paris one has a very nice coverage as well. Like I have so many spots right now and it actually covers so well. It's really good. I've been using this foundation for like half a year or so and it never disappointed. I think these foundations are pretty identical. Only thing is that I think that L'Oreal Paris has a little bit of a higher coverage. I mean slightly better coverage than Elizabeth Arden, but they're pretty much the same thing, and I think L'Oreal Paris does just the same job with a fraction of the price, so definitely save your coin. And now moving on to the concealer. For the high-end side, I'm gonna use Givenchy Teint Couture Eyewear Concealer, and this is in the shade 12. Retails for the price £26. And for the drugstore side, I'm gonna use Collection Lasting Imperfection Concealer, and this is in the shade number 5 Fair. I really love the applicator of the Givenchy one, but it's a little bit crazy the price of it, right? Like almost 30 quid for a tiny concealer. This is actually for the first time ever that I'm using the concealer from Collection, and very excited to see how it works. Okay, I'm actually quite impressed by both of these concealers. Like the Givenchy one did such a nice job and the Collection Lasting Imperfection Concealer did exactly the same thing, so they're pretty identical, but like the difference of the price is absolutely insane. One more proof the drugstore stuff is absolutely banging. And now moving on into the powder, I'm gonna use the Too Faced Peach Blur Translucent Smoothing Finishing Powder infused with peach and sweet fig cream. And for the drugstore side, I'm gonna use Kick-Ass Instant Retouch Pressed Powder from Soap & Glory. This one from Too Faced, actually I saw that it's discontinued, so it means that it's no longer available on their website or any other websites. I checked on Selfridges the other day and it's actually out of stock. And it actually smells like peach, which is absolutely incredible. Oh, love it. But let's see how it's gonna work on my face. The Too Faced one retails for the price £26, or at least that's how much it was when it was available online, and the Soap & Glory one is for 12 quid. This is actually as well using this type of powder for the first time ever, so first impressions so far, I mean, it does the job, is quite good. Maybe not exactly the powder that I'm supposed to use because it's finishing powder and I need now like a setting powder, but we're gonna work with what we have, right? Okay, I must tell you, I quite like this powder. It's not necessarily a matte one, it's like a little bit glowy, which I quite like. I think I like both of the powders. They set the base really well. And moving on now into the bronzer. Blah. Moving on into the bronzer for the drugstore, I'm gonna use Rimmel London Natural Bronzer in the shade 25 Sun Glow. And for the high-end side, I'm gonna use Benefit Hoola super famous bronzer, which I have in this mini palette. I've been using before this and I'm very happy. Like, not in vain, is one of the best bronzers out there. It's maybe not the best dupe, but this bronzer from Rimmel London has been a friend of mine for a very long time and I really much like this guy, like it's actually started to end. And I think I like even more the Rimmel one because it blends so nice. The Rimmel one retails for the price of like 6 quid and the Hoola bronzer is like above 26. So moving on into the exciting bit, or my favorite bit of any makeup, is the blush. And for the high-end side, I'm gonna use the balm and it's called Down Boy and this is in the shade, yeah, I guess it's Down Boy. I just like their names, they're so weird. This one retails for the price 15 quid. And for drugstore side, I'm gonna can't even speak anymore. I'm gonna go with the Sleek and this is in the shade Issa Mood. And I think the shades are quite different. Like the balm one looks so much more like subtle, it's like a very pale pink, while this one it looks very intense and bright, as you could tell. But I think oopsie daisy, destroying it already. This one already started to get destroyed while opening. But yeah, this I'm gonna use for the first time ever, so I'm super excited to see how it works. Big fan of this brand and I'm really in love with the packaging, like so retro and so cool. Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful. It blends so well and the color is just like perfect. Sleek one is very bright pink and it's very shimmery, like comparing to that one. And I think I'd much more rather the balm one because I'm not a big fan of the blushes that have too much shimmer. Now moving on into the brows, and for the high-end side, I'm gonna go with the Benefit 24-hour brow setter, which is like a clear gel. And for the drugstore side, I'm gonna go with what is with me, man? I'm gonna go with Essence Blush and Brow Gel Mascara Style and Comb. So just like a very natural thing, just trying to give them a little bit of a shape. I don't think you can make much more difference from some clear gel, but we shall see. The Benefit one retails for the price I think 12 or 14 quid, so I don't remember exactly. And the Essence one is only 2 quid maximum, so that's an absolute bargain. And if it does the same job as Benefit, then you're my favorite, darling. Yeah, pretty fluffy, pretty nice, both of them, no much difference. I think definitely the Essence one is my favorite just because it's like 2 quid and you can't go wrong for this price. Moving on into the eyes, and this is very exciting because I have a very nice dupe. For the high-end side, I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury the Queen of Glow Luxury Palette, which retails for the ridiculous price of 40 quid. And drugstore one is the e.l.f., which is called Cream and Sugar, and I think it's only 3 quid. And how insane is that? And when you look, the shades are pretty much identical. I've got this one from an advent calendar because no way on earth I would pay so much money for just like 4 shades. I mean, isn't that a little bit nuts? Tell me, eh? But we're gonna try both of them and we're gonna see which one is better. I've tried the e.l.f. one before and it's a very good tiny eyeshadow palette, like worth every single penny. It's a little bit interesting because all of them have like shimmers, and just like the dark one is matte, so I don't know how we're gonna work with this. I mean, I'll try to, but ooh la la, these are crazy. Like, look at this pigment. Amazing pigment. But it better be good pigment for this money. Like, for real. Yeah, amazing. Still can't justify the price. I mean, I'm a cheapskate. First I'm gonna grab the e.l.f. palette and get this very gorgeous shade, which is like champagne, sort of cream sugar, like one of those, and apply it all over my eyelid. Now I'm gonna grab the Charlotte Tilbury one and get the same sort of shade, like cream champagne, one of those nice creamy colors. Okay, the Charlotte Tilbury one is a slightly different shade. Very good. The pigment is incredible. It applies very nice. Now I'm gonna grab the e.l.f. palette and dab into the darkest shade and try to apply a little bit. Now I'm gonna take the Charlotte Tilbury one, the darkest one, which seems a little bit brighter than the one from e.l.f. And now we're gonna get a brush and start to blend nicely. I think both eyeshadows are pretty good, like they applied really nicely, they blended super good. Yeah, I don't see much difference apart from the side that the Charlotte Tilbury one was like the shade was a little bit different, but they're like both so freaking good. And now moving on into the lashes, I guess. And for the high-end side, I'm gonna use the super infamous Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced, which retails for the price of 24 quid. And for the drugstore side, I'm gonna use Rimmel London Extra Super Lash, which I got it recently and never tested before, so again, first impressions. And this one as well, I've never used it before, and yeah, I'm wondering where I've been living until now. Okay, this is incredible. It makes them so long and so voluminous. And we're moving on into the highlighter. And for the drugstore side, I'm gonna use Essence Vintage Beach Big Highlighter. And for the high-end one, I'm gonna use the most famous highlighter, which is Mary Luminizer from the Balm. Okay, this glow is unreal. Like, wow, what the hell? Like, I didn't expect this, seriously. I think the Mary Luminizer is discontinued at this point because I haven't seen it anywhere except Amazon and a couple of like not so famous websites. But I think this retails for the price of 20 quid from where I've got it. And the Essence one I think is like 5 quid, so that's a huge difference. Let's apply. Wow. Wow. I just can't believe how similar they are, like this type of like champagne sort of color, which is not like very bright, but just like subtle and perfect for the cheeks. I mean, to me they're both like 10 out of 10, but if you want this and can't get it anywhere, I definitely suggest you to get this, which I think, I don't know how long ago it's been released, but it's so freaking good, like I can't tell you, and literally for like half of the price or even less. Banging. And we are moving to the last step, which is obviously the lips. For the drugstore side, I'm gonna use L'Oreal Paris. I have no idea how it's called, this lipstick, because it's too old and worn, but this is in the shade 640 Erotic. And for the high-end side, I'm gonna use MAC in the shade Twig. The MAC one retails for the price of 17 quid and the L'Oreal Paris one retails for I think 10 quid or so. Color Rich Matte Addiction in the shade 640 Erotic. That's the guy. That's the dupe that you need for the MAC. So I think both of the lipsticks are very nice, very creamy, super pigmented. They apply so easy and so quick. I'm a big fan of both of them, but I still think that I'm gonna stick with the one from the L'Oreal because it's like half of the price and it does literally the same job. And yeah, that's my finished look. I hope you enjoyed it. I found some really good dupes and I think between my favorites are definitely the highlighter from Essence, and I think the Rimmel London mascara, which was pretty good. Obviously the eyeshadow from e.l.f., which I've been using quite a lot recently. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, to subscribe to see more of my future videos, and apart from that, see you next time. Mwah. Bye!